Hello. Today on our podcast, Chit Chat, we're going to talk about seniors versus crime. Welcome to another infrequent podcast known as Chit Chat. Today, I'm here with incredible folks from the Florida Attorney General's Office program called Seniors versus Crime. I have Joyce here and Tony here, and we're going to go through some questions and let them explain what a wonderful program this is. You know, one of the great special things about Volusia County is, we have a lot of incredible seniors here who really make this county move. We really want them to know they're a victim of crime, what is out there for us. So when was the SVC formed?
Okay. In 1989, the Florida Attorney General's Office, Florida Legislature, and AARP, they all got together and decided there's something that needs to be done to help our citizens. And actually, it's not just for seniors. We also help any adult.
That's good to know.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Any adult. And then one time somebody asked, how about a child? And I said, well, that's when I started saying any adult. First, I would say any Volusia County citizen. It's all over the state. So we have all the counties, all 67 counties covered.
So all 67 counties are covered. And here in Volusia, we're blessed, Tony, to be set up right here.
Right here, we have a wonderful office on Big Tree Road, 724. Big Tree Road, which is part of the church here, which is
Holy Cross Lutheran Church.
Holy Cross
South
Lutheran
Daytona.
Church, South Daytona. Room number 7.
And, and we've seen one another here a million times. The church is very, very active in our community, whether it's Veterans Day services, Memorial Day services, and, of course, what we're doing here with this program with Seniors versus Crime.
They have, I'll also just add in there, the Seniors Today newspaper is through this location also. And Bonnie in the office is wonderful. She puts ads in the paper. You do an article in that paper. Yeah. And they give us that room back there, which I'll show you later.
Thank you for bringing that up. Because like I said, they are very, very engaged. But the Seniors Today is a great, I hate to say that I'm a senior now. I have been for a little bit of time, so I've had some articles done on me as well as the ones we submit. But thank you for saying that. So services, I'm sure everybody's going to wonder, what kind of services do you guys offer?
Basically, what we offer is we are not, first of all, let me say that Senior versus Crime Project was formed in 1989 by the legislature of Florida. It is administered through the Attorney General's Office, state of Florida. We are not a law enforcement agency. We are simply an agency or actually an entity that works with not just seniors, but everyone, trying to bring together, if it's a scam or feels it's a scam, we try to bring together the scammer and the scammy if they are. If not, we try to at least work with the parties to reach an agreement that's mutually accepted. If it's not, then it's moved on through either legal, law enforcement, or some other type of remedy.
So I know we would all agree, especially in today's world with cyber crime and internet crime, this is clearly something that's probably needed more than ever. Tell us about some of the things that are coming through the door that you're seeing. What are some of the... and
Joyce and I have been working quite a bit on it, on a variety of scams. I was sitting by my computer trying to write up a list of scams that we work with by means, not all of them, and I ended up with a dozen. And I was trying to title this particular document for us lecturing, and I turned on the television, and there was a television program called The Dirty Dozen. And I said, my God, what a beautiful title. So we have the Dirty Dozen scams, and I'll just quickly go through them. We do lost parcel scams, healthcare, Medicare, Medicaid scams, roofing problems, banking scams, credit card, check washing, ID theft, construction scams, solar scams, moving company scams, entrepreneurial scams. That's where an entrepreneurial problem where contractor and the person who buys a product, romance swindling scams, family tragedy scams, which in many cases in our profession it's called grandmother or grandfather scams, automobile dealer scams, and password reset scams. This is just some of them.
And I'll tell you, I think you've covered just in those 12, the big ones that we see all the time from our end of it.
In many cases, what we try to do is to educate our populace that scammers work in oftentimes with the calendar that we live by. For instance, we just got finished with one of the highest lost parcel scams from Black Friday right through until the end of January, when all the returns for the holiday. So there's a spike in scams like that. Medicare, Medicaid, there's always a spike during the time when there's transition, which October 15th to December 7th was Medicare enrollment, so there were scams associated with that. And of course, romance scams, we are very close to Valentine's Day, and it's on its way. Cemetery scams, which is not listed here, we have during the times of the year, Veterans Day, Easter, Mother's Day, there's so many scams going on. And scam artists are ingenious, so we have to be a step ahead, if possible.
You know, it's funny. I ran into Joyce up on A1A they were trying to collect toys for our Shop with a Deputy program, and one of the things that we talked about was those, just what you just said. You have that open enrollment with Medicare and Medicaid, and I cannot think of who the celebrity was that was making the pitch to call this number if you want additional dinner, if you want additional dental or optical, here's what you do. And you had said to me,
oh my gosh,
scammers are watching that as well to duplicate that, to try to scam you out. So who's on your staff? What folks do you have on staff here?
We have, retired law enforcement and administrative office, clerical, business people that want to go out there and help everyone. In our office now, we're all volunteers. We don't get paid for this. Any monies we recoup go directly to the person. Nothing comes to us. Nothing goes up to the Attorney General. It goes directly to them. We have 6 volunteers now. Above that, we have a deputy director and a director, and then the Attorney General. I guess that pretty much covers.
So I think one of the things that we see, and you know this, having been in law enforcement, is as we get older in life, there is that sense of, I don't want to make that phone call.
Yes.
I know I was scammed. I don't want to make that phone call. The family will think I'm losing my mind. They'll take away my car keys. They'll take away my ability to have financial freedom. What message would you like to give to those folks?
Let me just say that, our prime purpose is to educate the public, and that's what we're trying to do with you. That's what we're trying to get more speaking engagements. Some people don't even know we exist, and that's kind of sad, because we're here to help. So I'm going to just about trying to hit all the Volusia County libraries, go through that way, and they're very receptive. You went to the Rotary and even homeowners associations. We'll talk to anybody that wants us to talk to them. We're trying to get our pamphlets that we have in all the, as many places as we can. All the libraries, Volusia County libraries have these. I'd like to get them in all the police departments, but that's kind of hard to do.
We could facilitate that for you. I might know somebody that can make sure we get them out there.
I want you to have some with you, too.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
would be great. So our prime purpose is to educate people and let them know, we're here to help. I'm afraid sometimes when I answer the phone that I might be targeted because you're so quick to respond. Don't be so quick to respond to that person on the other end, especially if you don't know who they are or what they're calling about. Take some time, think about it. Let them know don't be pressured into anything. If it's a legitimate offer, if it's a legitimate business, they don't mind you asking them questions or saying, I have to call you back. I have to check with my daughter, my son, my sheriff, because because you're open too to get in touch with people, can get in touch with you. So education is our prime purpose, and that leads to prevention and spreading the word, and then we mediate. Then once it's gotten to that point, we try to work out a good resolve between the two.
The one thing that really helps, being a white cap, and what I mean by that is I'm a senior, and seniors feel very comfortable in sitting with another senior when they are discussing something that's embarrassing. And it is embarrassing, and scammers understand that. So yes, education is so important. Seniors have to realize that education, especially when it comes to a media that a lot are unfamiliar with, they are still using, and as I love the phrase, we have smartphones, they're still using flip phones. So computers are kind of foreign, not to all, but to many. And there are a dozen, 24 or 10 strategies that they need to learn about what not to do. And that's one of the things we try to do when we lecture.
Well, you bring up some really, really good points, both of you. Number one, as a senior, you should be more comfortable in reaching out to other seniors because, hey, you're not the only one it's happened to. And what you brought up with the cell phones is I try to tell everybody, if you don't know the number, don't answer it, number one. And number two, think of this. What is so important that you have to make a decision right then and there? And you mentioned it, the pressure. And that's what happens. Some people succumb to the pressure. We just had it where with the United States Marshal Service calling, and a woman, I think it was a woman, $8,100 they got her for. And we had somebody else who said it was a lieutenant from the sheriff's office. You didn't show up for jury duty. You have to pay us $5,000. You're going to get arrested. And they're good, but they pressure you. And remember, what we always tell folks is nothing is that important. You can't say, give me your number, I'll call you back. Because they don't want that. They don't want you to hang up and have time to think.
Right.
And that's one of the most important things. So what's the best way for folks to reach out to you guys? What's the good number, email?
Phone number we have on our brochure.
And we'll put it on the bottom of it.
Okay. I don't have my reading glasses on with us.
I'll give it to you. Well, let me give you our 800
Go ahead.
first. 1-800-203-3099. Our office number is 407-537-9509. And our email address is Volusia, as in Volusia County, Volusia@svcproject.org. And our website, seniorsversuscrime.com.
Excellent. We'll scroll that at the bottom.
That's Seniors VS, right.
Seniors VS
Not
Crime versus VS, seniorsvscrime.com.
You can also reach us through the Attorney General's office. She has a link there. My Florida Legal.
My Florida Legal.
My
Okay.
Florida Legal.
Perfect.
.com.
We'll clear that up.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to share with us any types of success stories or stories that you got that you're like, hey, if I have the opportunity, I'd really like to share this with the public?
Well, what I can say is that we're pretty fortunate in that many of our contractors, many of our companies that locally here in Volusia County are very sensitive to their reputation. And when a senior comes in to file a complaint about in what they feel is a scam, in many cases, it's maybe a misunderstanding. And just to really lay it out for you, a gentleman had come in and he had bought a machine, a tractor-type machine, that he wanted to use on his property. And he did get the machine, and the machine was not the power that he thought it should be that he bought. And when he came into our office and sat with us, one of the first things that we did was to turn around and ask him for the flyer that he bought it from. And sure enough, the flyer had listed the power that the machine came with. And when we went back to that contract, to that purchase, the company that sold that to him, they were very quick to turn around and give it back. So if there's anything to be learned, what's important is when you buy something, keep the literature. that you bought it with, because we can then sit and work with the contractor or work with the company and try to reach an agreement that the senior or anyone is happy with. But more important, I don't think any company would like their reputation smashed. And it's important, and they want to do the right thing. And together, we can help many.
Joyce?
The other good point is when you when you sign a contract, make sure you have a hard copy of that contract. Don't just sign on a pad and believe that it's okay. We've seen ones that have come in. They didn't have a hard copy of their contract, and they said one thing and the other person said something else. But when the business showed us, you could actually tell that there was copy and pasting on there. Signatures can be manipulated, and it's sad that when that happens, because a lot of our older adults, and even me, well, I guess I am a senior now too, but anyway, a lot of people want to believe and trust in people, and sometimes you just can't. I mean, it's sad. With the computers, when we were talking about the different stuff on the computers and how things could be manipulated, it brought up something that I remember from my dad. I would always tell him, don't be quick to click.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Right.
He was always so quick to, it's not working. Oh, I want to go here. He's so quick to click. And I said, don't do that. Don't do that. You know, you'll go someplace where you don't want to be. Always look up the website yourself. Don't rely on a link.
What's also important when you're talking computers, if we leave you with anything, when you are looking up one of your accounts on a computer, and after you have negotiated the transaction, you'll get a pop-up that will say, do you wish to save the password that's in there? Don't do that, because anyone that gets on that computer, the computer would automatically get the password. So please don't do that. I know it's difficult, and I know it's hard to look up. Keep yourself a little composition book by your computer, and then take it with you and save it with all your passwords in it. And then you can make sure that anyone that's on that computer will not have access to anything specific to your account.
That is a great point. I was just on my account the other day, and you logged in, and a thing pops right up. Do you wish to save your password? I just never save it anyway, because I don't remember them. Even I do your advice. I have a little book, especially when it comes to my Ticketmaster account, and I'm like, now I have a little. Oh, wait a minute, I know I changed that, but I forgot to change it in the book, and I got to redo it all over again. So that's that's a senior moment for the sheriff.
And that one last one for any parent that is having a child. Identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in America. And I would suggest that, and there's a song that came out, name your child Sue, Frank, or anything. Try not to give it the exact name that you have, even though it's a great thing, but they get mixed up all the time. Social security numbers, a company will automatically, if you give a last name, it'll pop up. So try to name your child, or at least make sure that the middle initial is different. If it's a junior, make sure they use that junior. And if they don't, you may be having problems. Not so much that it's a theft problem, but a problem in the first thing that'll pop up is that name. So think about that before you name a child.
Very true. You should have told my parents that 60 years ago.
Yeah,
my father had that name. Yeah, I don't use junior. Stuff that comes through for him, and vice versa. It's pretty good. Joyce, you got anything you want to add?
Just to be alert, to be on the lookout and be aware, avoid problems in the beginning of it. Then you won't have to do a request for assistance, is what we call it. And I don't know if we mentioned it. You can go online, and it has a place where you can, I believe it's called request for assistance or file a complaint. You could do that right online. If you do it on our website, it goes up to the Attorney General, and then depending on what county you're in, she sends it out. They can work on it. They do. She has her own. They have a senior protection team up there that's full of lawyers. Once it gets to, in our end, once it gets to a lawyer or judgments, we can't do anything with it because now it's in the hands of the law. And if it's criminal, that's your bag. We can't touch anything criminal. And most of the time, it's just miscommunication between. It's not just only scams. It's just somebody felt they were treated unfairly in business. So it's just, and they start yelling at each other. So we kind of get in there where we try to communicate back and forth again. And most of the times we can.
Very good.
So prevention's the key. Before you get to us, try to be aware. I guess that's the biggest thing.
And through your office, I must say, you're doing a great job. It's a safe county.
Well, thank you. I was just going to say to you, when you started your law enforcement career, what year? We'll bleep it so nobody knows. So we won't date you.
It was in the.
So you started around this when my dad started. My dad started in 1964.
That's exactly when I started.
Would you ever, I mean, I know how it's changed just in my 36 years. Did you ever envision the technology that exploded? Because as good as it is, obviously we're having this conversation because there's a lot of bad that goes with it.
The one most important thing of all is the fact that there was a time years ago we had no radios in early 60s, and we had no clue of who we were stopping. They knew who we were. We did not know who they are. So technology is a blessing and has saved so many lives over the years. And today, I remember the first radio. It weighed 9 pounds. I couldn't carry it around. But today, God bless technology, we're a lot safer, and the populace is a lot safer as well.
Very good. Thank you.
That and working with our police officers and the Volusia County Sheriff's Office and Daytona Beach police officers there's so much more communication with people and police. There's more respect, I believe.
And I think that's the key, whatever we do. Communication is the key, no matter what it is. There has to be communication. I mean, I was watching Adam 12 the other night.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
That's an old one.
I wasn't feeling good. I'm laying on the couch. I couldn't sleep. And they were talking about community relations, community engagement, and communication. And that was the 68 to 72 Adam 12 was on. So here it is, all these years later, we're still talking about the same thing. But from our perspective, we just want to salute you for what you folks are doing here, because I think, the most treasured possession we have in Volusia County are our seniors. And God knows somebody has to look out for them and for us, for that matter. So thank you so much for your
And
feedback.
for all adults. I mean, we cover all adults.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody needs to have that. And that's great to know that here's a resource that you can email or pick up the phone. You're going to talk to a peer, and they'll get you to where you need to go. So I hope that Volusia County, you learned a lot from this, that you'll take advantage of this wonderful program and the wonderful people volunteering their time to protect our community. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Chit Chat. May God bless the United States of America, and may God continue to bless and guide this great country and our great county. Thank you.